Okay, so just looking at my Janome 15,000, I have a question about the utility in quilt stitches. So when you open your machine, page 1 of 8 of your stitching, you can see 38, sorry, of your stitching is right here. And here's your straight stitch. You can check down here. These are your default settings for the utility straight stitch. Here, if you expand it, you can see that actually that's not a default, sorry. We'll just reset the default down there. 4.5 is the center of your 9mm width for your needle position. The length of a utility straight stitch for default is 2.4, where the tension is 3.8. I also have this changed, but you know, it's usually just on auto. So that's what you would use just for sewing just about anything. 2.4 is a pretty good length. It's strong. It's close enough to not have gaps in your seams and far enough away to easily seam rip. However, if you're quilting, there's two ways to find the quilt version of the straight stitch. You can scroll here down here. I think it's page 6. There's all these other ones. You got to scroll through this way. And here you go, quilting. And you've got your straight stitch. Again, come down here, expand that, and again, center stitch, center needle position. You now have a 1.8 and a 3.4 for your tension. Again, I've got that changed, but you would just have that on auto. So the biggest difference here is going to be these two numbers, 1.8 and 3.4. So it's a little bit looser of a tension, but a little bit closer of a stitch of 1.8. So this is good for piecing, and just gives you a real nice tight stitch. So when you open up your seams, there's no pulling on them, and it's a really nice thing. It's all set and ready to go. There is another way to reach the same screen. If you hit this little home button and the let's see, that one, and look for the one that says quilt. Oh, it's already highlighted because that's where I was. It just brings you back to the same thing. However, there's another option. Come back down to home and you hit the t-shirt. This brings you into another whole, let's see, there you go. You've got all these options. And so if you come down here, you'll find that, again, we have quilting. So let's check that one out. I go to quilting, and right here it says straight stitch. That's what we're looking for, so we pick that. And again, we've got our little screen down here. And still in the center position. However, now, instead of the 2.4 for a utility stitch or a 1.8 for a piecing stitch, we are all the way up to a 3 for stitch length and a tension of 3.8, which is the same as a utility stitch, actually. This quilting straight stitch is for actually quilting 3 layers together when you've got your backing, your batting, and your top, versus the quilt stitch in the first menu, which is a quilt stitch more for piecing. So I hope that explains a little bit for the people who had asked me and reached out. Thanks.